In this last part of our lesson, two examples are provided to compare and differentiate an effective PowerPoint presentation with an ineffective one. Comparing the two presentations based on the first slide of a presentation, a lighter color is much more attractive and comfortable for the audience to see, whereas dark and dull colors are relatively boring and hard to see. So, with those 2 points taken, make sure the color and the color scheme are relevant to the content of your presentation. In the agenda section of a presentation, the color of the template, text, as well as font should match and be consistent throughout the slideshow. Words should be aligned so that it looks more organized, and any misspellings should be avoided at all means. A carefully chosen design template will give its presentation a professional and consistent look as shown in the effective presentation. As for the introduction slide, the title and the content placements should also be consistent throughout the slideshow. Unlike the ineffective presentation, make sure to choose color combinations that make the text easy to read. Fancy pictures and unnecessary graphics should be avoided. If a graphic is used, it should not be covering or blocking the main content of the presentation. An organization chart is used to display a hierarchical structure. It is usually color-coded by level, and the proper selection of boxes represents the correct hierarchy. For instance, managers and employees should not be placed on the same level unless otherwise specified. When constructing an organization chart, make sure that all the contents must be visible within the box. Include only names and titles of individuals as seen in the effective presentation. Extra information such as extension number is not necessary. Like what is seen in the ineffective presentation, extreme colors used may not be pleasant to the audience's eyes. Hence, unmatched color combinations should be avoided. In the overview part of the presentation, each slide should only include key points and not scripts. Keep in mind that the presentation is for the audience to see and not for them to read from. Bullets are used when just listing main points, whereas numbering is used when there is a priority or order. Limit them to 6 or less per slide, and each bullet or numbering is recommended to have 8 words or less. Slides are designed to aid the presentation flow, so keep the information short, simple, precise, and not too overcrowded or overwhelming. Also, fancy fonts are not always better. It is best to stick with simple fonts. Consistent formatting features should be used throughout the whole content of a presentation to give it a professional and organized look. A chart is a pictorial representation of data. The chart used depends on the type of data and the goal that is to be achieved. When constructing a chart, make sure the correct and proper chart data and type are shown. An example in the ineffective presentation, where the title is cut off plus an unrelated chart is used, should be avoided. As seen in the effective presentation, each piece of the pie chart should be clearly labeled. Also, make sure to include the legend, title, and source if necessary. In the sales section of a presentation, numbers should be broken down so that it is understandable, like shown in the effective presentation. If figures and tables are used, make them reader-friendly and avoid any complicated ones. Also, remember to keep their size consistent. Before ending a presentation, it is suggested to have a brief summary slide so that the audience can refresh their mind on what has been covered. As for the thank you slide that is used to thank your audience at the end of the presentation, keep the image proportionate if used and words error-free. An example in the ineffective presentation, with an image that is too big, plus spelling or grammar error should not be followed. Additionally, other common errors, such as animations or special effects, are usually one of the errors committed. We all know that special effects will give the presentation a dynamic and interactive effect. However, make sure they have a purpose. Unnecessary and slow animations should be avoided by all means. Otherwise, they tend to be distracting. Also, keep in mind that inconsistent animation effects and inappropriate background sounds are disturbing. As for paragraphs, it is best to avoid them and keep the words large enough, at least at size 24 so that the audience could see. Limit approximately 1 up to 3 graphics per page, as too many graphics can be distracting. Slides are designed to support your presentation. Therefore, keep it simple and short. Most important of all, do not read the presentation word for word from the slide. Other than that, handouts and notes are useful at times, as most people do not retain information at the same level. Therefore, it is recommended to provide the audience with handouts or notes for future references.